Vitamin B6 plays a central role in the regulation of homocysteine, an amino acid that, when elevated, acts as a potent risk factor for cardiovascular disease. While folate and vitamin B12 tend to dominate this discussion, largely because of their roles in methylation and neurological protection, B6 is equally critical. It works on a different but complementary pathway that transforms homocysteine into cystathionine and then into cysteine, a process that helps reduce the burden of this toxic compound. This conversion occurs via the transsulfuration pathway, and B6, in its active form pyridoxal 5-phosphate (PLP), is the necessary coenzyme for the enzyme cystathionine SS synthase (CBS), which catalyzes the first step of this detoxifying route. When B6 levels are insufficient, this pathway slows down and homocysteine begins to accumulate in the bloodstream. Chronically elevated homocysteine damages the inner lining of blood vessels, promotes oxidative stress, and facilitates the formation of arterial plaques, all hallmarks of atherosclerosis. It's also prothrombotic, meaning it increases the likelihood of unwanted clot formation. Together, these effects significantly raise the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and peripheral artery disease. Homocysteine isn't just a passive marker, it's an active contributor to vascular injury, and controlling its levels is essential for long-term cardiovascular protection. Despite this, the spotlight tends to remain on B12 and folate, leaving B6 as an overlooked but essential player. Part of the reason B6 receives less attention is that its role in homocysteine regulation is biochemically distinct. While folate and B12 drive the remethylation of homocysteine back to methionine, B6 facilitates its permanent removal through the transsulfuration pathway, converting it into the sulfur-containing amino acid cysteine. This is not just a detoxification mechanism, it also supplies cysteine for the synthesis of glutathione, the body's most important intracellular antioxidant. In this way, B6 doesn't just reduce vascular damage by lowering homocysteine, it also equips the body to better manage oxidative stress that fuels inflammation and endothelial dysfunction. The clinical implications are profound. In people with low B6 status, homocysteine can remain elevated despite adequate folate and B12 intake. This is especially relevant in individuals with certain genetic variations, such as MTHFR polymorphisms, where methylation capacity is impaired. In such cases, optimizing the transsulfuration route through B6 support becomes even more important. Yet, most cardiovascular prevention protocols still focus narrowly on B12 and folate supplementation, missing the broader biochemical picture. Even advanced homocysteine-lowering strategies often neglect to include B6, leading to incomplete and sometimes ineffective interventions. This oversight is compounded by the fact that homocysteine isn't routinely tested in clinical settings, despite its proven association with cardiovascular risk. And when it is tested, elevated levels often trigger B12 and folate prescriptions without assessing or correcting B6 status. The result is that many individuals remain in a state of partial metabolic imbalance, treating one pathway while ignoring another. This not only limits the success of homocysteine-lowering strategies, but may also leave other systems vulnerable, since B6 has downstream effects on neurotransmitter balance, liver detoxification, and immune modulation, all of which can be indirectly impacted by elevated homocysteine and reduced cysteine availability. A deeper issue is the general lack of appreciation for how interconnected these vitamins are. Treating folate or B12 as standalone solutions ignores the synergy of the methylation and transsulfuration cycles. It's not a matter of one vitamin being more important than another, it's about the coordination of all three. In this triad, B6 acts as the exit strategy for homocysteine, preventing it from lingering and causing vascular damage. Without it, even perfect folate and B12 intake cannot fully protect the cardiovascular system. In summary, vitamin B6 is a linchpin in homocysteine regulation, working alongside B12 and folate, but serving a unique and non-redundant function. Its role in converting homocysteine into cysteine not only reduces cardiovascular risk, but also contributes to antioxidant defense and metabolic balance. Yet B6 remains underacknowledged in both clinical practice and public awareness, overshadowed by nutrients with flashier reputations or more immediate neurological effects. Recognizing B6's quiet contribution is not just a matter of biochemical accuracy, it's a necessary step toward truly comprehensive cardiovascular protection.